But if you're a new homeschooler, you don't know that there was a price to pay for homeschool freedom. You don't know that people like I were threatened with jail for homeschooling, and we spent 8 years fighting for homeschool freedom in South Carolina, either in court or the legislature. Joni Mitchell has that song, "You Don't Know What You Lost Till It's Gone, Take Paradise and Put Up a Parking Lot." For me, it was one day I was free, the next day I wasn't, and I never saw it coming. It was a total blindside. We have to be really aware freedom is not free and it is fragile. And we need to lovingly care for it, protect it, and stand firm and realize it can be threatened. Hi, welcome to the Zan Tyler podcast. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Zan Tyler podcast, where our goal is to help you thrive in your homeschool journey. Let me take just a minute to ask you to please subscribe to this podcast wherever you listen or watch, including YouTube. And be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram. We post a lot of content there. So I'm really excited about our show today, and I've just lost my notes.
That's fine. They were great notes. I'm excited too. We're back. We haven't given this. You haven't given this segment a name yet. What are we calling this? News time. What do you want to call it?
Well, news time, fun time, reply time. I really don't.
That's it. News, fun, and replies.
Okay.
This is a day in the life of a homeschooler. First, I pick out an outfit for the day. Do I want to wear this skirt or this skirt? Or this skirt. Then put on my natural deodorant that doesn't work because Mom doesn't want me to catch aluminum cancer. For breakfast, I have a bowl of spinach and a carrot because that's the only thing Mom says I'm not allergic to. But Mom gets to eat potato chips and chocolate.
Can I try some?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I sneezed once today, so Mom tells me to apply all 16 of her essential oils. I do my schoolwork for 8 hours and knock 3 times to go to the bathroom so my parents will unlock the door. I secretly listen to 21 Pilots.
This makes me feel so understood.
Because my parents would call it bad music. I try to make friends with a stranger I see through the window, but they just look at me weird and call Child Protective Services.
We see a girl in a window with a help sign right here. I think I need to come check this out.
Oh, man. When my homework's done, Mom lets me outside for 20 minutes on a leash so I don't get into any trouble. Can't see over the privacy fence, but I've always imagined the world was a beautiful place. Now is my day in the life of a homeschooler.
Okay. I'm just going to go with the fact that she's having fun with this. For those of us who have been around a while, sometimes it ceases to be funny, but that's not my job here. The first thing I have to say is, when we started homeschooling, my boys looked at me and said, if you ever buy a denim jumper, we won't go out with you in public and we'll quit homeschooling.
No.
So when I look at those skirts and jumpers, it brings back memories. I really did feel like I spent the first 10 years of my life as a homeschool mom myth-busting in the legislature and in the media and everywhere else, showing that everything she is laughing and making fun of today isn't true about homeschooling. When you homeschool, the world is truly your classroom, and you're probably out and about more than anybody else, or at least that's how it was with our kids.
But some of these comments, I like this. This is interesting. I said, grew up homeschooled. I wasn't allowed to interact with the neighbors or listen to anything that wasn't Christian enough, including Christian rock. I wasn't even allowed to talk to people online, which is a good rule, by the way. You shouldn't be. I was physically and mentally abused. Not good. That's very sad. And I didn't even know it because I thought it was all normal. I like this. This is another top comment. Homeschooling gets a bad rap these days, but honestly, it's just on the parents to ensure that the kids are raised properly. When done right, the kid grows up smart, socialized. I'm an advocate for homeschooling. This person says, as a homeschool person, I'm sad to hear this for a lot of people is isolating. It can be really great. Some parents maybe just don't know how to do it correctly, but I'm very fortunate that my parents took me to meetups with other homeschoolers, and I've met a lot of really close friends.
You know, I would say the biggest problem with homeschooling now is there are too many things to choose from, not enough.
It's overwhelming.
Yes,
right? Like how many things there actually could be.
One of the things our guys were involved in all the time were sports. And I'm delighted to say now so many states have their own and localities have their own homeschool sports leagues that my grandkids are involved in.
5 Northeast Indiana schools are still in the mix for girls basketball state titles. The boys' postseason not too far behind, but a separate group of high school-aged athletes are prepping for a multi-state regional this week, and at least one of those in particular is already looking ahead to the next level. Trayvon Maley is a gifted athlete who loves to hoop, but you won't find him competing for any Northeast Indiana schools. At the onset of COVID, he and his family opted for homeschooling, but that hasn't kept him away from competition.
There's a lot more to just homeschool games than there seems to make out to be, apparently.
Like this Christian Basketball Alliance state tournament game featuring Trayvon's Fort Wayne Hawks. This particular matchup saw the 21-win Hawks fall in overtime to the eventual runner-up Benton Bucks, but it also included a celebration for Trey, marking him reaching 1,000 points in his career. Of course, he didn't want to take much of that credit.
This group of guys right out there that I play with every single night is something that I don't take for granted, because I'd rather play for this group of guys, because these group of guys, we love each other.
Now this team's success is leading to more opportunities for these guys. A stat sheet like Trayvon's, showing a nearly double-double average per game, is bound to get you noticed, no matter which school, if any, you represent.
I was not expecting some of colleges to come out for me, especially since I'm homeschooled. I wasn't expecting that, but since I am getting those college offers, it's just, like I said, it's also just a blessing. I can't say anything else. It's just a blessing.
You know, I think this is really exciting because people don't understand the opportunities that their homeschool athletes will have. You know, even when my boys were coming through in the 90s, Lizzie didn't care about sports. She was all into the fine arts. They were involved in classic soccer leagues and both had soccer scholarships to colleges. And so that was a little bit different than today, where it's even more common. We have, just in our area, we have PAC, which is a local homeschool sports league. And recently we were just given a $1 million facility donated to us by a very generous man. And it has the gyms where the basketball teams can practice, volleyball teams can practice, and they're getting ready to add a baseball field and a football complex. So just like in this particular clip, which is so great that he's got colleges looking at him now, this young man, we have it is called, let me look at this, the East Coast Homeschool Basketball Nationals in Gatlinburg the week of March 3rd. There'll be 124 teams there, which is roughly 1,000 students, 3 age divisions, both male and female. And every year we've been there with our grandson, Brody, there have been colleges there who are looking. And so it's great because they enjoy playing together. They have, they have the same goals in life. They love each other, just like this young man said. His team loves each other. They love playing together, and they have the opportunity to go on and play it at the collegiate level. The NCAA works with homeschool students now. Just you need to find out what they require through your local group or through your state organization. You can figure out how to work with the NCAA to make your child scholarship ready.
This is a whole new level. I always considered sports if you wanted to be a homeschooler in the sports, you would have to go sign up for your local public school, which you can do. You can play. You can play in your district. It's probably different.
Well, sometimes, not in every state and not in every district. Yeah, but a lot of states have the Tim Tebow law now because of what Tim Tebow did for homeschool athletics.
So I knew that, which I thought was cool, but this is actually cooler.
Yes.
It's all homeschoolers good enough that they're competing at the regular national championships, and colleges are looking for it. So I think that's awesome.
It's pretty cool. So sometimes sports in the homeschooling world can get a bad rap, but my boys were great athletes, and they also used it as a springboard for ministry. They've been counselors at FCA camps. They've put on PE clinics for homeschool students and ended with devotions and Bible studies with the kids. This went on for 6 weeks. And my middle son, John, was asked by a pastor in the area to recruit a soccer team in South Carolina to take over to the UK for evangelistic purposes.
Wow.
So there are all kinds of opportunities that come to our kids through sports.
Bye, I'm off to school. See you later. Time for school. Yeah. Ooh. Bro, what time is it? Oh my gosh. Yes! Okay, I'm done for the day. Yay.
There are a couple of things about this clip that I love. The first one is when the homeschool kid wakes up, he's smiling and it's like, yay, let's do schoolwork. Every
Yeah.
homeschool mom might die just for one day of smiling when schoolwork starts. So I got to give kudos to that kid for that. The other thing is we might not necessarily want them to wake up with the computer in their lap and start school that way, but he did have enthusiasm about that, and I really appreciate it. It's interesting because there have been some studies done on teenagers that show that they need a lot of extra sleep and they need a lot of daylight, sunlight, real light, and the difference that makes in their growing bodies and their attitudes. So I love that about homeschooling, that the day can start a little bit later for teens. It doesn't mean they're lazy. It just means they need a lot of sleep. And
Yep.
we know that homeschool kids, there's just an efficiency of scale. When you are teaching, 1 to 3 to 5 kids, what you can get done in a couple of hours is amazing. And you're not classroom teachers. Somebody asked me the other day, what about people without teacher certificates? Well, my mom was a public school teacher, and she said most of what we did in college was learn how to manage a classroom, not how to teach individual students. We had a headmaster here at a Christian school that was also a homeschool dad, and he wrote this letter one time and just said, you can get done in 3 hours. He was talking about at high school level, what you can get done in 8 hours in a school system, because you have your students' eyes and attention, and
Wow.
you can get the work done. They can focus and get their work done. And then it's 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock. They have the rest of their day.
According to UCLA Health, minimum 8 hours. On a vast study, that's absolute minimum. They recommend closer to 10 for healthy growth, brain function. The average American teenager is not getting 10 hours of sleep.
So it's pretty, it's pretty exciting to look at the statistics.
It's interesting how culturally we now have enough data to know, okay, you need a lot of vitamin D, you need a lot of sleep. Those two things alone, A, make you live longer, B, make you much healthier. And then C, third, you need healthy diet, high proteins, high healthy fats, lots of vegetables, fruit. And so we know these things. And then we just go right back to doing exactly what we were doing.
That's right. Well, the thing I loved about this clip too is that kids really can focus on their interests. This podcast is brought to you by BJU Press Homeschool. Homeschooling is an exciting adventure we take with our children. One of the most challenging parts of this journey is choosing the curriculum you want to use. BJU Press Homeschool is a curriculum you can trust. All the books, resources, and videos have been designed with you and your child in mind. Their curriculum is educationally robust and rich, taking into account that children have different learning styles, strengths, and needs. Mom, you are in charge. BJU Press Homeschool is here to come alongside and support you. Do you need help with the teaching load, or is there a subject you just don't want to teach? Their amazing video courses are available for all grades and almost every subject. BJU Press Homeschool believes that homeschooling can produce a new generation of students who know God, love their neighbors, and stand firm in their faith. For more information, go to bjupresshomeschool.com. That's bjupresshomeschool.com. Virginia just had a bill introduced that was similar to this, that wanted to get rid of their religious exemption clause that allows homeschoolers to homeschool that way. And now we're hit with this in Illinois. It's a new homeschool act. For those of you who live there, it's HB 2827. It's not an act, it's a bill. It's very draconian. I was just talking to Kirk Smith, the president of the Illinois ICHE, the Illinois Homeschool Organization, this morning, and he was giving me a little bit of background. Illinois has always been very free. They don't even have a registration type law. They have a list of subjects they have to teach. Their kids are doing great. Homeschooling is flourishing there. And all of a sudden, they have this bill that would require them to register, and the registration form can become more complex over the years, requiring more and more things. But to me, the absolute most egregious part of this bill is a clause that will allow people from the school district, a person from the school district, to stop into your home anytime during the day to ask for your portfolios. I don't know if they can ask to see your children or not, but they can come by once a day. They can come by whenever they want to, and if they don't like what they see, they can report you to DCFS and start an investigation on anything. So to me, I haven't seen a bill like this in many, many years. I mean, during the early
Wow.
years of homeschooling, states could require a home visit. And to us, that was anathema. That was the point where even in the 80s, we would all say, stop, no way. And everybody had signs for HSLDA on their door telling their kids what to say if somebody came to the door during the school day. And, you just this is awful. You need to band together as a homeschooling community and fight this. If you haven't written your legislators yet, you need to write or call them and let them know you are opposed to this. We are not opposed to education. We want our children to do well. We are opposed to these kind of requirements that allow people in our home who don't belong there. Homeschoolers don't need this to flourish. We have laws on the book that take care of child abuse and truancy. We don't need any more of those. And I would just tell you, this is really bad news. Other states will be watching to see what happens in Illinois. We need to get on board with our friends there. If you're not a member of Homeschool Legal Defense Association, I would say join them. They are helping to fight this battle. And we all need to stand together against these kinds of egregious bills that threaten our freedom.
Like, I'm in Colorado, you're in South Carolina. Why should we care about what's happening in Illinois?
Because other states are watching this. And if they can get this passed in Illinois, you better believe this will be coming to a state near you. I'll never forget when we were in the middle of all of our legal throes in South Carolina, Mike Ferris had filed a class action suit against a testing company because they wanted to say homeschoolers in South Carolina, if they didn't have a college degree, they had to make a passing test on the education entrance exam, which was this test devised by the university for juniors who wanted to major in college. I know this is complicated. So Mike
Really?
filed.
And they wanted, I'm going to interrupt because I want to understand. They wanted, who did they want? So who took this test voluntarily? And then who did they want to take it?
If you were a junior or a rising junior in college and wanted to major in education, you took the education entrance exam.
Got it. That's someone who wants to. So
yes.
who are they trying to force to take it?
Homeschool parents without a college degree. And
to teach 8-year-olds?
Yes, or to teach college children. It doesn't matter. I mean, high school kids. It doesn't matter. The whole thing was ridiculous. So Mike Ferris filed this class action suit. I think against IOX was the name of the company, the testing company, saying it hadn't been tested for the homeschool population. So for use in the homeschool population. So we lost at the lower court level, but won at the state Supreme Court level. And this had great implications because Mike told me there were about a dozen states waiting in the wings that if we had lost this lawsuit and the legislature had continued with that particular requirement, there were 12 states waiting to pass that type of what they called front-end credentialing for homeschool parents in other states. So Benjamin Franklin said, we better hang together or we're going to hang separately. We need to know what's happening in these states so we can stand with them in freedom.
Got it. So it's we want to stand with them anyways because this is abuse of power. It's inappropriate. I also noticed in the bill certain things are vague, which would mean the local principal basically could have precedence to put that in their opinion. Or their lens, which clearly I'm sure it's written that way on purpose.
Well, go ahead.
I was just going to say, so we should care. Like Colorado should care. Because
that's right.
Just like anything that requires politics or legality, it all comes down to the big P, which is precedence. So if precedence can be set, then that can be used as a weapon. It can be used as a weapon in defense, sometimes if like what you just did with the class action lawsuit, now precedence has been set to protect. That's a good precedent. This would be a very bad precedent.
That's right. That's right. And so we want to be careful to stand for freedom. We have a generation now, this is no criticism at all, but if you're a new homeschooler, you don't know that there was a price to pay for homeschool freedom. You don't know that people like I were threatened with jail for homeschooling, and we spent 8 years fighting for homeschool freedom in South Carolina, either in court or the legislature. Joni Mitchell has that song, "You don't know what you lost till it's gone." You take paradise and put up a parking lot. For me, it was one day I was free. The next day I wasn't. And I never saw it coming. It was a total blindside. So we have to be really aware freedom is not free and it is fragile. And we need to lovingly care for it, protect it, and stand firm. And realize it can be threatened.
If something like this has happened in your state, or if you live in Illinois where it is happening, or at least being discussed, what are things that citizens can and should do?
The first thing you need to do if you live in Illinois is contact ICHE. I think it's the Illinois Christian Home Education Association. They can tell you don't want to fight against what they're doing. You want to work with them. So get online and find out what they're doing. Vote no to 2827. They need to be flooded with emails and phone calls and visits, and it needs to come from their constituents. As a constituent, you have a lot of power. Let them know you're opposed to this. Visit them and tell them in person. You can't take things like this for granted. This is the type of thing you need to be aware of the dangers, because if they don't like what they see, and it doesn't mean because you're doing anything wrong, they can file this investigative report with DCFS, which is their Child Protection Services.
It's ICHE.org, and they have a petition page set up. They have a petition already you can sign. They also have right here, find your district, and then so you can call your representative and your senator. So yeah, ICHE is on top of it. That's awesome.
Yes, and make sure, I was talking to Kirk today, they still need more calls and emails. Use this as a civics lesson and a civics project with your children. Get them involved. Tell them what you're doing. Explain the law. Explain what this would mean for them, without scaring your child to death. And then if you want to, visit your legislator together.
We're homeschooled. Of course we don't know what grade we're in.
We're homeschooled. People assume we have no social skills.
We're homeschooled. Our days off are our parents' days off work.
Love it.
We're homeschooled. Of course it doesn't take us 8 hours to get 3 hours of work done.
We're homeschooled. Of course everything is a lesson.
Yep.
We're homeschooled. Of course we're making this video when all the other kids are at school.
We're homeschooled. Of course we don't have a bedtime.
We're homeschooled. Of course we lay around in pajamas.
We're homeschooled. Of course we go shopping in the middle of the day.
I'm homeschooled. Of course I wear fuzzy socks all day, every day.
We're homeschooled. We go to the bathroom whenever we want. We're homeschooled. There's no such thing as a snow day.
We're homeschooled. We get to visit all the cool places with no lines while all the other kids are at school.
True.
We're homeschooled.
Amen.
Of course we have a golden retriever.
We're homeschooled. We eat when we want.
We're homeschooled. People assume we don't have.
I don't know why that video fills me with such joy.
It does. It is so sweet and so funny to see that family working together like that to give us that video. And there's so many things that are true. I remember the first time we had a news crew come to our house, which happened all the time, but the first time the boys were like 4 and 6, and I didn't prepare them for this interview. And so, because I wanted it to be spontaneous and genuine. And
what could possibly go wrong?
Right, that's right. And so they said, "John, what do you like the most about homeschooling?" He was 4, and he said, "I get to have a snack and go to the bathroom anytime I want to," which is true. Good. But that's not what we wanted talked about on the nightly news,
That's it.
But this is different. This is just families having a lot of fun. Of course we don't know what grade we're in. Of course, everything's a lesson. I mean, everything we do as parents, we're saying, hey, come here, I want to teach you this, or let me show you something, or
how funny. I love that we laugh at it, but it's funny if you listen to everything each kid says and then you took it out of the homeschool context, you'd be like, oh yeah, that's real life. You go grocery shopping in the middle of the day, your days off or when you're not working. Everything really is a learning opportunity. And then you take a step back, you're like, maybe that's better. Maybe that's
absolutely. I love this video. I'm so glad to end on this video.
On a happy one.
It's a happy video with well-adjusted kids and a family that loves each other. And I say, wow, go for it.
My favorite was, and I'll read some comments. My favorite was when I did VBS and my daughter Emery was in kindergarten, and the teacher was just being sweet. She's like, "Are you in kindergarten?" And Emmy just looked at her and said, "I'm in the homeschool garden." Because she didn't. You could see her face. She's like, "Kinder what? I'm in a homeschool garden." And it was in the church. The teacher was so nice. Like, "Oh, you're homeschooled. That's so sweet." I'll read some comments. This is good. The 8 hours of work thing in 3 hours is so real. When I transferred into public school, I was shocked at how long people spent doing nothing all day. The forgetting what grade I'm in is also real. People say, "So what grade would you be in?" And I'm like, 9th. Wait, no, 8th. No, I don't know. I was homeschooled from preschool all the way till 9th grade, and then my 10th grade year, which is the year I switched to a local private school. While homeschooling was amazing, helped me build a very deep bond with my mom, the community and friends I developed at school is just as amazing. They're both amazing in unique ways. I think that's sweet. Oh, I like this one because this is a third person perspective. I go to dance with this girl who's homeschooled, and she is literally the least toxic, nicest person I know my age. She's insanely smart because of the 8 hours doing 3 hours of work thing, which is very true. She is like 14 taking like 4 college level courses. Also, she has a bunch of hobbies that she wouldn't have time for if she wasn't homeschooled. I'm jealous.
Interesting.
How sweet is that?
Well, thank you so much for being with us today. We hope you enjoyed these clips. We hope you'll pray for freedom, homeschool freedom, and our friends and families in Illinois. And besides that, thank you for being with us today.
Absolutely.
You know where to find me, zantyler.com, and on social media. Caleb, thank you for doing this with me. It makes it a lot more fun.
They are fun. Everyone subscribe, get on the email list so you don't lose out on any of these fun episodes we do. And until next time.
Bye.